Hello everyone! This video introduces the structure and written expression sections of TOEFL test. In this part, you will answer questions about grammar, sentence patterns, and common writing errors. You need to choose the correct form or identify what is wrong in a sentence. So understanding basic grammar like tenses, clauses, and subject-verb agreement is very important. In this lesson, we will learn simple strategies and practice together so you can answer more quickly and confidently. Although there are actually 26 strategies commonly used for this section, in this video we will focus on only 6 key strategies for clarity and effectiveness. This slide explains the general strategy we should use when answering sentence-based questions. First, we need to carefully read and understand the whole sentence. This actually helps us grasp the context, meaning, and what kind of word or expression is actually needed. Second, we should look at every answer choice thoughtfully instead of guessing quickly. So we compare each option and see which one fits best grammatically and logically. And finally, the last one, we should not eliminate an answer too quickly. Always check it again with the complete sentence in the question to make sure it truly does not fit, and then you can eliminate it. So by following these steps, first understanding the sentence, the second reviewing all options, and the last one verifying our choices, we can avoid careless mistakes and choose the most accurate answer with confidence. Okay, so now we move on to strategy 1, which focuses on subject-verb agreement and identifying the basic structure of a sentence. This is one of the most important skills in the structure and written expression section because every complete sentence must have at least one subject and one verb. First, always check that the subject and a verb agree in number. A singular subject takes a singular verb. A plural subject takes a plural verb. Many questions in TOEFL test this simple rule, but maybe in the TOEFL they may add long phrases or extra information, especially to confuse you as a test taker. So now look for common problems such as missing verb in the question, or maybe missing subject, or maybe even both. Subject and a verb are missing in the question. So sometimes a sentence looks very long and complicated in the question, but it is actually incomplete, even though they are long sentences. On the other hand, you might also find an excessive subject or a verb in the question, meaning there are too many elements which makes the sentence grammatically incorrect. So to make this easier for you, you should mark the sentence while reading the question. So you can underline the subject of the sentence once, only one underline, and you can make an underline twice for the verb. So this strategy actually helps you to clearly see the sentence structure and quickly check whether something is missing or unnecessary. Now let's look at an example to apply strategy 1. The sentence says, blah 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 was ringing continuously for hours. Before we start to choose the answer, we have to understand the questions. As we study in strategy 1, we have to understand the sentence and identify where is the verb and where is the subject. So look at again the question. Blah 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 was ringing continuously for hours. Do you see any subject in the question? Mm, nothing, right? Okay, so do you see any verb in the question? Yes, there is a verb, and that is was ringing. Is a verb, which is singular verb. It means we need a singular subject to match the verb in the question. So, what are we looking for? Subject, right? Subject, it should be noun or noun phrase. Remember? Okay, so next we check each option A, B, C, and D. A, loudly. Is loudly a noun? No, it is an adverb, so it cannot be a subject. B, in the morning. In the morning is a time phrase, not a subject either. It cannot be a subject. C, the phone. The phone is a singular noun. Because it is a noun, so it can function as a subject. So it matches the singular verb in the question. So the option D, bells. There is S in the end of the word. So it means it is a plural noun. It can be a subject, but it does not agree with the verb in the question, which is was ringing. So the correct answer is the phone, right? Because it is a singular noun and can be a subject, and it is matched in a number. So this example shows why identifying the verb first and checking subject-verb agreement really helps you quickly eliminate wrong choices. Now let's practice strategy 1, subject-verb agreement. Remember, every complete sentence must have one clear subject and one correct verb. We must avoid missing verbs, extra subject, or incomplete form. Let's look at the first sentence. Mark Twain, blah, 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 the years after the Civil War, the Gilded Age. First, you have to understand the question. It means you have to identify the subject in the question. So in the sentence, the subject is Mark Twain. Alright, so look at the question again. Do you see any verb? Nothing, right? So we need a verb to complete the sentence because we have already subject, which is Mark Twain. So let's look at the option. Let's start with the option B, calling. Calling is an inform, not a main verb. So it is not correct answer. Option C, he called. He called adds another subject, which is he. He is a subject, which is unnecessary because we already have Mark Twain as a subject in the question. So let's see option D. His calls. His calls is a noun phrase, not a verb. So this is not correct answer. Let's see option A, called. Called is a simple past verb, which is a verb that agrees with the subject and it can complete the sentence correctly in the question. So the correct answer is A, called. So now the second sentence. Early, blah, 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 toes instead of hooves on their feet. Look at the sentence again. Find the structure. Do you see any subjects? Do you see any verb in the question? Alright, so both are nothing. So we need both a subject and a verb. Check the option A, horses. Horses is only a subject, but not a verb. So we need both because we need both in this question. We need both a subject and a verb. So in option A, only horse. Let's check option B, head horses. Head horses, there are some subject and verb, but it is in correct word order. Incorrect word order. So it is incorrect answer. Let's see option D. Horses having. Horses having is not a complete verb. So this is also incorrect answer. So let's check the option C. Horses had. Horses had includes both subject and past tense verb. Horses is a subject, had is a past tense verb, which makes a complete sentence. So the correct answer is C. Horses had. These examples show that we must always check a complete subject-verb pair and make sure nothing is missing or repeated. Now let's look at two more practice sentences. Remember, our goal is always the same. Find the subject, then make sure there is a complete and correct verb that agrees with it. First sentence, first question. The large carotid artery, blah blah blah, to the main parts of the brain. Start by identifying the subject. Is there any subject in the question? Yes, the subject is the large carotid artery, which is singular. So, is there any verb in the question? Nothing. Okay, it means we need a singular verb. So let's check the option A, carrying blood. Carrying blood is an ing form, not a complete verb, so it cannot be a verb. So this is not the correct answer. So let's check option B. Blood is carried. Blood is carried changes the structure and does not match the subject, because this is in the option B there is a subject and the verb itself. So it cannot be the answer because we need only a verb. So let's check option D first. Yeah, option D. Blood carries and C carries blood. In option D, blood carries makes blood as a subject, which is incorrect because we need only verb. And C, carries is a simple present verb that agrees with the singular subject artery and blood as an object of a sentence. So the correct answer is C, carries blood. Now the second sentence. Blah 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 radio as the first practical system of wireless telegraphy. Here we need a complete sentence. So we must look for both a subject and a verb, because in this question, the second question, there is no subject and there is no verb. So we need to find subject and a verb in the option, in the answer. The option A, Marconi's development. Marconi's development is only a noun phrase, so there is no verb. So this is not correct. Option B, the development by Marconi. Development by Marconi is also a phrase, so we still need a verb. So it is not correct answer. The option C, developing Marconi. Developing Marconi, what is it? Developing Marconi is incorrect grammar. So developing here as an adjective. So we still need verb in this option. So this is not correct answer. So let's move to D. D is Marconi developed. So Marconi develop gives us a subject, Marconi as a subject, and a past tense verb, develop is a past tense verb. So forming a complete clause. So the correct answer is D, Marconi develop. These examples reminds us that always check for a clear subject verb pair and avoid incomplete phrases. Now we move to strategy 2, which focuses on the object of prepositions. This strategy is very important because prepositional phrases often appear in TOEFL structure and written expression question, and they can easily confuse you. First, remember what a preposition is. A preposition is a word like in, on, at, under, between, for, from, or with. These words usually show relationship of time, place, direction, or manner. After preposition, we always need a noun or a pronoun. This noun or pronoun called the object of the preposition. For example, in the phrase on the table, the word on is a preposition and the table is an object. So it is called object of preposition. And the word in, with my friends. Friend is an object. So in the word with my friends, With is a preposition. My friend is an object of preposition because with the word with is a preposition. So grammatically, a preposition must be followed by a noun, not a verb. This is where many students make mistakes. Sometimes the test includes a verb form after a preposition, which is incorrect. So, for example, we say before leaving, not before leave. Yeah, so before leaving, not before leave. Because after a preposition, we have a preposition before, and leaving is actually a gerund, which is can function, which is uh, can be a noun, the inform. So we cannot use before leave, but before leaving. Another important point is that the object of a preposition is never the subject of the sentence. So many TOEFL questions try to trick you by placing extra prepositional phrase between the subject and the verb. These phrases are just extra information, so you should ignore them when checking subject verb agreement. So that is why this slide lists many common prepositions. You should become familiar with them. When you see one, immediately identify the phrase and focus on only the main subject and verb of the sentence. By recognizing prepositions and their objects quickly, you can avoid confusion, eliminate wrong answers, and understand the sentence structure more quickly. Now, let's look at an example to practice strategy 2, which is identifying the object of a prepositions and finding the real subject and verb. The sentence says, to Mike, blah, 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 was a big surprise. As first, notice that Mike begin with the preposition to. Yeah. So when we look at the question, as in strategy 1, we have to find the subject and verb. Do you see any subject? Which one is the subject in the sentence? Which one is the verb? Is Mike a subject? No, it is not a subject because before the word Mike, there is a preposition to. So to here is a preposition. So this is a prepositional phrase, not actually a subject. And Mike is the object of prepositions of to. So it is not the subject, yeah? It is not the subject of the sentence. So we should ignore this phrase and look for the real subject. So because Mike is not the subject, so we need to find the real subject. Next, we find the verb. The verb in the sentence, which is was, yeah, was a big surprise. Was is a verb, and it is singular. So we need a singular noun as a subject because there is no subject in it. Okay, so let's look at the option. A, really. Really is an adverb, so it cannot be a subject. Um, C, the option C is funny. Funny is an adjective, so adjective cannot be a subject. So option D, when is a conjunction, so it cannot be a subject. Yeah, it cannot be a subject. So none of these, like option A, C, and D, can be a subject because they are not noun. So the only option which is a noun phrase is B, the party. The party is a noun phrase and it fits grammatically to the sentence of the question. So the correct answer is the party. These examples remind us to always separate prepositional phrases and focus on the subject and the verb of the sentence. Now let's practice strategy 2, object of prepositions. Remember? A preposition such as in, on, at, of, between, from, or, with must always be followed by a noun or noun phrase as an object, not a verb or a complete clause. So let's look at the first question. Between 1725 and 1750, New England witnessed an increase in specializations of. Look at the sentence again in the first question. Do you see any preposition in the question? Yes, the preposition here is of. So after the preposition, we must place a noun or a noun phrase as an object of preposition. Yeah, okay, because it is object of preposition, so we should put noun. So let's check the option A, occupation. Occupation is a noun, so it is a correct form and it can be an answer. So let's see option B, occupies. Occupies is a verb, so this is not correct because we need only an object of preposition. Option C, they occupy. They occupied is a clause which is with subject, they, subject, and occupied is a verb, so this is not correct. We only need object of preposition. So in option D, it occupied them. It occupied is a full clause. There is a subject, there is a verb, and there is an object. So this is not the correct option. So the correct answer is A, occupation, because we need only object of preposition, which is a noun. Because of a noun can follow the preposition of. Now let's look at the second question. The second question, the two biggest resort, blah blah blah, Arkansas are Hot Springs and Eureka Springs. Look at the question again. In question 2, is there any subject? Yeah, the subject is the two biggest resorts. Right, so look at again the sentence in the second question. Do you see any verb? Yes, the verb is are. So we have both subject and the verb. So we just need more additional information that explain about the results. Result, yeah. So here we need a phrase that to show location of the resort itself. To show location, we typically use a preposition like in or at. Yeah. So we are looking for a phrase that modifies or give explanation about the resort. So let's check option A. Option A is in, which is incomplete by itself. Yeah, because it is not only preposition that we need, but we need also object of preposition. So which is incorrect. So let's see option C. Option C is towns are. Towns are. Towns are in, and D, towns are in, both create extra verb and make the sentence. So option C, option D make extra verb and make the sentence ungrammatical. So let's see option B. Towns in forms a noun phrase. So this is a noun phrase with a prepositional phrase. Towns in Arkansas. So if we put it into the question, towns in Arkansas. So which is correctly describe the result. So the correct answer is B, towns in. These examples show that after a preposition, always choose a noun, not a verb or a clause. This simple rule helps you eliminate many wrong answers quickly. Now we move to strategy 3, which focuses on the present participle or the ing form of a verb. This form is very common in TOEFL structure and written expression question, and it can have different functions, so we must understand how it works. First, the ing form can function as a gerund, which means gerund can act like a noun, so it can be used as a noun. For example, swimming is fun. Swimming is fun. So swimming here is not a verb but a subject of a sentence. Yeah. So second, it can be a part of a verb phrase. For example, the train is arriving at the station now. The word arriving is the present continuous tense. So in this case, arriving works together with is, yeah, is arriving as the main verb of the sentence. So it can be a verb. So the third one, the ing form can act as an adjective. Yeah, can act an adjective which describe about a noun. So for example, the train arriving at the station now is an hour late. Here, the word arriving is not a verb. It is not a noun. It is not a gerund either. Okay. So arriving at the station now describe the train. So it gives, like extra information. So it functions like an adjective. Yeah. So like the train arriving, that is arriving. So give more description about the train. Yeah. So it is an adjective and it is not a verb. So this is where students often get confused. Sometimes an ing word looks like a verb, but actually it's not the main verb of the sentence. So always check. Is it a noun? Is it a part of the verb tense, or is it describing a noun? So by identifying the functions of the ing form, you can avoid missing verbs and choose the correct structure more accurately. Let's look at the example. The film blah 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 appearing at the local theater is my favorite. So the first we need to identify the structure in the question, right? About present participle. So as usual, we have to find the subject in the sentence. Do you find any subject here? Where is the subject in this question? The film, yes, the subject is the film. Okay, so we need to find also a verb in this question. Where is the verb in this question? Is it appearing? Is it is? Theater is. So where is the verb? Appearing or is? Okay, the correct answer, the verb of this sentence is. That's the main verb of this sentence. So appearing, the present participle in this sentence is not a verb. This is an adjective which gives extra information about the film that we talk about. So because we already have a subject, we already have a verb, so we don't need both. We just need an extra thing. So for example, like adverb or something. Yeah. So let's look at the option A, B, C, D. So we have option A, which is now. This is an adverb. It can be an answer because it cannot be a subject. It cannot be a verb. Right. So let's option B. Option B is. Is here can be used as a verb, which the question doesn't need. The question already has a verb, so we don't need that. So let's move to option C. Option C, we have it. It can be used as a subject, but as you can see in the question doesn't need more subject because it has already a subject, which is the film. So C is not the option. So let's see D. The option D is was, which can be used as a verb, but the question doesn't need the verb, so this is not the correct answer either. So the correct answer is A, which is now. Yeah. So if we put it into the question, the sentence becomes the film now appearing at the local theater is my favorite. Now let's practice strategy 3. Present participle, especially how the ing form can function as an adjective or part of a verb phrase. Look at the first question. The first blah 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 appeared during the last period of the dinosaurs' reign. First, you have to find the main verb. Okay, the verb in the question is appeared. Because the sentence already has a complete verb, which is appeared, so the missing part of the question should be the subject, not another verb. So we have to find a subject yeah, in the option A, B, C, and D. So let's check the option A. A, we have flowers are plain. So this is full sentence, so it doesn't fit as a subject. So let's option B, plants have flower. This also a full sentence, so this is not the option. So option C, plants, flowers. This is grammatically incorrect, so this cannot be a subject. So option D, flowering plant. This is a noun phrase because flowering here as an adjective and plant is a noun. So this is a noun phrase. The word flowering is a present participle describing plant. Together, it forms as a subject. So the correct answer is D, flowering plants. Here, in this question, the ing word function like an adjective, yeah, not a verb. So now let's look at the second question. The earliest medicine, blah, 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 from plant of various sort. Again, we have to identify the structure. Where is the subject in this question? So the subject is the earliest medicine. And we need a main verb because there is no verb in this question. Yeah, we have already a subject, but we still need a main verb in this question. Because medicine received the action, so we need the passive voice verb. So let's check option A. Option A is obtaining. Obtaining is only an ing form, so not a complete verb. So this is not the answer. Let's see B. They obtain. They obtain. There is also an extra subject. Yeah, because we have the word they in option B. So we don't need that because we have already a subject in the question. So let's move to option D first. D. They were obtained. They were obtained. There is also extra subject. They is a subject. So we don't need a subject in this question. So this is not also the answer. So let's see option C. Option C is were obtained. Were obtained is correct passive verb phrase that match the subject. So this is the answer. So the correct answer is C. These examples show that ing forms can describe nouns, but we still need a complete verb for the sentence. Now we move to strategy 4, which focuses on the past participle or what we often call the V3 form of the verb. Right, so this form usually ends in ed for regular verbs such as worked, cleaned, or played. But for irregular verb, it can be different from one verb to another. It's like left, thought, written. So it is unpredictable changes. So in twofold structure and written expression question, the past participle has two main functions. And understanding these functions help you avoid many grammar mistakes. First, the past participle can be part of a verb phrase. So it usually comes after have, has, had, or a form of be. A form of be mean here is like am, are, is. Yeah. For example, in the sentence, the mailman has left a letter. Yeah, the mailman has left a letter. The word left is a part of the present perfect tense because it's preceded with has. In another example, the classes were taught by Professor Smith. So in this sentence, the word taught, yeah, the word taught is the passive voice of were, yeah, be, the passive voice of are. So if it is past, so it can be were. So in both cases, the past participle works together with another verb to form the main verb. Alright, so the second, the past participle can also function as an adjective. Adjective is sometimes it describes what a noun is, yeah, not acts as a main verb. So it describes a noun. For example, the letter left in the mailbox was for me. In this sentence, left Yeah, left here in the mailbox describe the letter. So it tells us which letter is. Similarly, the classes taught by Professor Smith were interesting. So the word thought in the fourth sentence uh, is describing classes. So this is where many students get confused. Sometimes a past participle looks like the main verb, but actually it is only modifying a noun. So you must always check, do we already have a main verb in the sentence? If yes, then the past participle is probably acting as an adjective. So when you see a V form or past participle, ask yourself, is it a part of a tense, part of passive voice, or just describing a noun? This is simple check will help you choose the correct answer more accurately and quickly. Now let's see the example. The bread, blah, 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 baked this morning smelled delicious. Okay, as we studied before, we need to identify the structure of the sentence. First, we need to find where is the subject in this question. And we need to find also a verb in this question. Okay, so let's see. The bread. The bread is a subject. So we have already a subject in the question. So we need to find a verb. Do you see any verb in the question? Look at again. Is it baked? Is it smelled? Which one is a verb for this sentence? All right, you're right. So the verb is smell, not bake. All right, bake is not a verb in the sentence, but smell is a verb in the sentence. So we already have subject, we already have a verb in the sentence. So we don't need any more subject, we don't need any more verb. So the bake in the sentence is actually past participle used as an adjective that can give more information about the bread. So we don't need any subject, we don't need any verb. So we have to find in the option A, B, C, and D. Has can be subject? No. Can be verb? Yes. So but we don't need any verb. So A is not the option. B, was. Was can be a verb, but we don't need verb from the question. So it is not the answer. So let's see C. C is it it here can be a subject, but we don't need any more subject because we have already the bread as a subject. So the option D is just. So just is just an adverb. It is not a subject. It is not a verb. So this is the answer. So if we put it into the question, the bread just baked this morning smell delicious. So that is the answer. Now let's practice strategy 4, past participle or V3 with this exercise. The sentence is, simple cells were made from canvas, blah, 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 over a frame. First, identify the main subject and the verb. Do you see any subject and a verb? Yeah, the subject is simple cells. The subject is simple cells and the main verb is were made. So this means the sentence already has a complete verb and the passive in the passive form. So we do not need another main verb. Next, look at the phrase offer a frame. Yeah, offer a frame. This tells us that the missing word should describe how the canvas is positioned. So we are looking for a past participle that functions as an adjective, modifying the word canvas. So let's check the option A, a stretch. A stretch is a noun phrase and it does not fit grammatically. So in option C, was stretch. Was stretch is also noun and D, it was stretch. Yeah, so in option C and D was stretched and it was stretched. Both option C and D Add another verb. So we don't need verb because we already have verb in the question. So which would make the sentence incorrect because we already have that in the question. All right, so let's see option B, which is stretch. So this is the past participle form and works as an adjective. So the full meaning becomes the canvas was stretched over frame. So the correct answer is B, stretch. So these examples show that the sentence already has a main verb, past participle, is often used to describe a noun, not to form another verb. So now let's look at another example. In the sentence says, Pluto's moon Karen, blah, 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 in a slightly elliptical path around the planet. First, always find the subject and check if the sentence already has a main verb. Okay, so as we can see here, the subject here is Pluto's moon Karen. So after that, we need a verb, right? We need a verb to complete the sentence. Now check each option carefully. Moving as a present participle or ing form, but it cannot stand alone as the main verb if there is ing in it, yeah? So it needs a helping verb like is or was. So this is incorrect. So option B, is moving. Is moving include the helping verb is plus moving. Yeah, helping verb is plus moving, forming the present continuous tense. So this create a complete verb phrase and makes the sentence grammatically correct. So Karen is moving in a slightly elliptical path. So let's see option C. It was moving. It was moving. C. So it was moving is actually, this phrase actually adds another subject. But we already have the subject in the question, yeah? So we don't need that. So this is incorrect. So the option D, in its movement. So in its movement here is just a prepositional phrase, not a verb. So the sentence will still be incomplete. Therefore, the correct answer is B, is moving. This example reminds us that every sentence needs a clear subject and a complete verb sentence, verb phrase, not just an ing word or a noun phrase. Now we move to strategy 5, which is about coordinate conjunction. We often remember about coordinate conjunction using the word fanboys, which stand for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. The conjunction are used to connect two independent clauses or two complete sentences into one compound sentence. So each conjunction has a different meaning. For example, but. But shows contrast, and conjunction and that adds information, give information, and the conjunction so shows cause and result. Look at the example. It was raining, but Bill went out to play. The word but shows contrast because going out in the rain is unexpected. Now, the second sentence says, I forgot my coat, blah, 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 blah. I got very cold. So here, we need conjunction that shows result because I forgot my coat. I become cold. So among the option from A, B, C, D, only the word so is a coordinate conjunction from fanboys and correctly shows cause and effect. Therefore, the correct answer is so. This strategy reminds us to choose conjunction based on both grammar and meaning. Now let's practice strategy 5 with these two exercise questions. Remember, when we use conjunction, we must check both the grammar and the meaning of the sentence. So let's look at the first question. Blah, 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 blah. with their surroundings, or they hide in suffix for protection. Notice the word or in the question. So this is a coordinate conjunction from fanboys. It connects two independent clauses. All right. So both sides must be complete sentences with a subject and a verb. So before the sentence before or and the sentence after or should be complete sentence. There must be a subject and a verb. So after or, we already have a complete clause. They hide in crevice. I don't know how to. Okay. So they hide in crevice for protection. So before or, we also need a complete clause, right? So let's see option A. Option A is lobster, only a noun. Lobster is a noun, so it is not complete. So in option B, lobster blend. So this is subject and a verb. So it is complete clause also, and it is correct. So in option C, lobster blending, this is not a full verb, so this is incorrect. Option D, because lobster blend. So in this option D, dependent clause, not complete, because there is another adverb in it, because. So the correct answer is B. Now the second sentence. Bears cannot see well, blah, 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 small eyes. Bears cannot see well, blah, 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 small eyes. Here in this question, we need a phrase that shows cause. So, but notice that the structure after the blank, after the blah, 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 after the blank, we only have small eyes. Okay, which is a noun phrase, not a full clause, not a full sentence, not full sentence, subject and verb. No. So we should not use because plus subject and verb. Instead, we need a professional phrase. So let's check option A. Option A, we have bears have. So this is incomplete. Subject and verb. And B, because having. So this is also incorrect grammar. Option C, we have because they have. Needs a full clause after it. Because they have. They have what? So it needs a full clause after it. Option D, because of bears. Uses because of, which is followed by a noun phrase. So the correct answer is D. These examples show that conjunction and connectors must match the sentence structure carefully. So let's go to the strategy 6. Yeah, the sixth strategy. We are talking about adverb. So as you can see here, there are some conjunction that can be used as an adverb that explain about time, explain about cause, explains about condition and difference. As you can see in the sentence here, the example, he is tired because he has been working hard. So we have the conjunction because, yeah, which show the causes. So when you say he is tired, this is the complete clause. He has been working hard. This is also the complete clause. So we add an adverb. We add a conjunction because in the middle of two independent clauses. So from because until hard. So because he has been working hard, this can be called as an adverb. Yeah. And that's what this strategy seeks for. So let's look at the second question. Because he has been working hard, he is tired. So this is an adverb clause. So from the word because until hard, because he has been working hard. This is also an adverb clause. He is tired is independent clause. There is a subject and there is a verb. Yeah. So let's see the example. Now look at the example. Blah 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 arrived at the library. He started to work immediately. So this is the examples of adverb clause. So remember, when we talk about clause, there are always a conjunction in it. Yeah. So there are complete sentence, okay, complete closed, and complete clause, and then it is connected with conjunction in the middle, right? So let's look at the example here. Blah 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 arrived at the library. He started to work immediately. So as you can see, there is one complete clause after comma here. He started to work immediately. So this is complete because there is subject and there is verb. But before comma, right, we have a verb arrive, but there is no subject in it. So we have to find a subject for that first clause. But because this is two independent, like two complete clauses, so we have to combine both complete sentence with conjunction. So in the answer choices, we need to find first conjunction, and the second is a subject for the word arrive. Okay, so let's see the option A. A is the student. The student can be a subject, but we still need also a conjunction to connect both complete clauses. And B, when. When is like a conjunction, but we still need also a subject. So when is not enough to complete the sentence in the question. So we have C, the option C is we have he. He can be a subject, but we still, the question still need some conjunction to connect two sentences or two clauses. So option D, we have after, which is conjunction, and the student as a subject. So the answer is D, after the student, because there is a conjunction which can connect two complete clauses, and the student also can be a subject for the verb arrive. Okay. Now let's practice identifying adverb clauses and connectors. Remember, adverb clauses give extra information such as contrast, time, or reason. And they usually begin with words like while, because, when, or although. They must also contain a subject and a verb. Look at the first question. Blah, 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 blah. A ball and socket join. The elbow is simple hinge join. This question shows a contrast between the shoulder and the elbow. So we need a connector that means whereas or in contrast. Check the option A. A, while the shoulder. While the shoulder. This is incomplete and there is no verb. Option B. While the shoulder is. Has both a subject and a verb, forming a complete adverb clause, and this is correct. Option C, the shoulder is. This makes two independent clauses without a connector. So this is not the answer. Option D, the shoulder. It is just a noun phrase. So the correct answer is B, while the shoulder is. Now let's look at the second question. A car has several sections with moving parts. Blah, 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 blah. Of those parts is essential. Here in this question, we need a subject for the second clause. Because in the first clause, so that's complete clause. Subject, verb, there is. But in the second, we need a subject. The sentence explains what is necessary. So we need a noun phrase. So let's look at the option. The option A, good lubrication. This is a noun phrase that can act as a subject, and that is correct. B, well lubricated is an adjective, so it is not a subject. C, and good lubrication. So the conjunction and, yeah, and in option C is actually unnecessary. So this is not an answer. So let's see option B, and well lubricated. Still incorrect structure because there is a conjunction that is unnecessary. So the correct answer is A, good lubrication. So these examples show that we must check both the connector and the sentence structure to choose the correct answer. That's all for our lesson today. Thank you so much for your kind attention. So subscribe to learn more.